Hello,
Hello,
hello. Hi, everyone. This is Dave and
hello.
Roxanne.
Welcome to another episode of
It's
It's
a
a
new
New
day.
Day,
It's
It's
a
a
new
New You.
you.
If this is the first time you're tuning into this episode, we do these episodes once, twice, sometimes over 3 times per week. And the goal of this episode is to inspire you, to encourage you that if you had a tough day yesterday, so it was a new day to become a new you, to become all that God created you to be.
Yes. So we are coming live from our home here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So let us know where you're tuning in from. We always love to know how global we are in this community.
All right, so every time we do this studio news, we always phrase it in a question. And the question today came from our date today. Our
Yes.
date, right?
Yeah, we try to do a weekly date, just the two of us, and we have this here questions for humans,
For
couple for the
couples.
couples, and it's really amazing. It's fun, right? Answering this,
Yeah,
getting to know each other.
it's basically a discussion point if you go on a date, or maybe there's another one for son and
For kids,
for kids. There's for families, so different
friends,
kinds.
yeah.
But this is good because it allows you to create different types of conversation,
Hmm.
talking points, thinking points. And the question that we're going to bring up today was this, because this is what we talked about today.
Yeah. So it's here. It says here, what's
It's the title today.
well, yeah, we make it. It says here, what's a basic fact about life you didn't learn until you were an adult?
What was their question again?
Our question is similar. What's something about life you didn't learn until you were an adult?
Where is it? Is it up there?
There.
Oh, what's something about life
Yes.
you didn't learn until you were an adult? Wow, interesting. Very interesting. We had like so many things, but one of the most common theme we talked about is that there are things that are character based that is hard to articulate for our parents,
Hmm.
to teach us. And one of the things that we talked about that we had in common is hard work,
Yeah.
right?
We
Uh,
were not told about, do hard work. My parents and my grandparents always told me honesty is the best policy. Family is important, education is important. So that was good. But in terms of like characteristics, like the hard work, it wasn't really ingrained in me.
yeah, it's like we were like, I mean, we've heard, like, I mean, you were taught as a kid of hard work, but nobody really kind of articulated the benefit of hard work,
Yeah.
like why you should hard. I just thought hard work is hard work, and why would you work hard, right? Because hard work is painful, right? It's we
we
associate,
we associate it as painful, the
yeah,
hard work.
painful
Yeah.
associated as like something that, it's something, if you should do it, then do it, but if you can avoid it, then avoid it, right? It's not something that, it's a you should seek for it so
Hmm.
that you will actually get the benefit of it. There's
Yeah.
lots of benefits, and we're going to go through that today. And again, this is some of the things we're saying today because this is some of the things we are hearing going to the fundamental father of personal development. Talked about this in our last videos, Jim Rohn, right? And Jim Rohn
Hmm.
talks about this. Point number one is this.
This one, all done.
um, Point number one: do what's hard
Mm-hmm.
now so that later
Mm-hmm.
it will be easy,
Yeah.
right? That's the first benefit of it. If you seek to do what's hard now, it's going to be easier later, right?
Yeah, if we do the hard stuff now, life give us more freedom later.
And on the reverse side, if you do what's easy now, it will be hard later. And there's a lot of examples on this. Do you have any examples?
Yeah, a lot.
Mm.
I think for us, savings, like I wasn't taught like how to save. So I didn't start saving until, later in life, right? So, if we do the hard things, which is, saving, investing in the beginning when you're young. Imagine if I save and invest when I was in my, teenager or even early 20s, right? Then, the you would have more investment. Or, if we do the hard stuff, which is not spending more than I should, right? Living beyond my means, right? So, those things, like, do the hard things first, because it's easy to go on vacation, you know because that's my fleshly desires,
Yeah.
right?
So one of the biggest things that applied to us is that when we got into $86,000 consumer debt, first was we filed for bankruptcy. That's the first thing. When we got married 6 months later, the easy thing to do was to file for bankruptcy, right? Because they
Oh
reset
yeah.
your debts, and but we didn't know that there was no problems with the debts. There was no problems with the credit card. The problem was that we wanted to do the easy thing of using the credit card to go on a vacation, even though we don't have the money yet. Use the credit card to buy stuff that's unnecessary, right, on the card, and it's called death by the small cuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Use a card here, use a card there, and before you know it, you're buried in debt. And the hard thing to do was actually to pay it and get out of the debt. First time we did the easy button, which is, file a bankruptcy. We didn't learn the lesson, right? Many years later, we got back into $86,000 consumer debt, and at that point, we decided to do what's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And what's hard was to get out of it, pay it one by one. And a lot of people, we didn't know that there's a lot of character refinement comes out of it when you do what's hard.
Mm-hmm.
For example, instead of going on a trip, saving up for it, delaying it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a $5,000 trip, instead of using your card, saving for the 5,000 increases your delayed gratification muscle. Or maybe it will allow you to become more resourceful because now you're going to find ways to earn income rather than using your card, which is the easy part,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you do what's hard now, it will be easy later. But if you use a card now, you will be paying for it when you come back. And this is what a lot of people, what we did.
What we did,
We
yeah,
followed
it's
those.
hard because, like, I think even 6 months or a year later,
You're still paying for
we're
it.
still paying for it, right?
Even starting a business, of course, there's value in starting a business using leverage. But if you leverage yourself too much and you cannot afford it, and it doesn't, this business doesn't make it, it's gonna hurt because you don't have the business anymore. You're still paying for it a year later. So that's the first one.
Yeah, another thing that we did is just an example is building a business now, which when we started this online business, right? We have our corporate jobs, so both of us are working full time, and then and at the time, right, we sacrifice the our lunch breaks, our weekends, our weeknights, right? So we you build you build the business on the side, and then and then um and then and then now we have more free time, and there's a lot of like stories of inspiring stories that did that, build the business now so that they have more time with their family.
Yeah. So how is that hard? Well, it's hard because it's easier to
Mhm.
just watch Netflix after work, right? It's easier to use your extra income to go out for dinners, dates, maybe save it up for coffee instead of using it to invest in yourself, buy books. If you're in the online business, use it, invest in your ads. It's just easier to do that now. But later on, though, if you build a successful business, once it becomes a successful business, it will be just easier for you later because you'll have freedom now. So on the flip side, you'll still be working until you're 50, 55, 60, 65, or some people can't even retire at the age of 60 or 65 because they don't have enough or they didn't build anything. What they did is they built their employer's business. They rented their self and their skills to someone until a certain point you cannot work anymore because you don't have the energy. And that's one thing we don't all have, is that one day we're gonna get old. One day we can't work, so you got to build something. Either you put money away or build a business or do both, right? So
a second thing that we weren't we didn't learn until later is shortcuts.
this is still part of the the hard.
Yeah.
So when you do what's hard, right? With shortcuts, right? You choose the easy.
Yeah. You'll have more trouble.
Yeah. So what's our examples?
What are the shortcuts?
For example, the shortcuts is like when I was in the financial services world. The shortcut is when you have so many debts, right? This is like logically, tactically, it makes sense, right? if you have, a credit card here, 18%, 20%, total of 20,000, the shortcut is consolidate it so that, going from 20% to 5% and your monthly payment will be lower. That's an
Mhm.
example, right? But that's a shortcut because it's more trouble later because you didn't fix the real problem. The problem, again, is not the credit card, is your habit.
Mhm.
80% of finances is habitual. I've seen this over and over and over when I go back to people after we consolidate it. All those other credit cards are full again, right? So now you just enabled the problem, right? It's a shortcut because you're like, oh, I have lower payments now. All those things are empty. Yeah. I'm supposed to have extra to use it, but you still have the same problem. The problem is you in the mirror, right? And there's a lot of things, right?
Yeah, shortcuts. I think for me, like when I was in high school, right? Um, my sister is very good in math, right? Or like, so I would ask her to do my homeworks. But then at the end on my exams, like almost failed because I didn't really study on my own, right? So
Mm.
when you do shortcuts, like even in this business, right? Some like a lot of people fail because they don't, I think they don't make the time to learn the skills. They want shortcuts. Most of us, or people want shortcuts so that it's faster, right? But it's really not faster because it's actually longer because you'll make more
Yeah,
mistakes.
people want the result,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't want the work to get the result, right? So the shortcut means like, I just want to get the six pack without even putting, which is not really. It's just more trouble later because it's just much harder for you, right?
Yeah, like it says here, those shortcuts made things worse later. Doing the right thing, even when it's hard, help us grow stronger and wiser.
So again, choose the hard path now. And what I
Mhm.
notice with successful people, they have a different relationship with pain, right? They almost want to seek for it because they know that pain, which for them equals not, suffering, pain, good pain, which is healthy,
Healthy pain,
healthy. What do you call this in
healthy
the?
struggles.
Yeah, healthy struggles, right? Equals growth, and growth means is your next level, right? So hard work is
I think if parents teach that to the kids, like sometimes my our son would say, because like he's the one that's always like mind setting our son, which is great. Sometimes I would hear my son when when it gets hurt, like or he hurts himself, he will say, "Mommy, pain is power. Pain is power." So it in a good way, as long as you teach them healthy struggles, healthy pains, then it is good, right?
yeah,
So
and that's like and I think parents have good intentions. Like one of Roxanne's example is that when her parents were kids, they were given rotation to do work,
oh
right?
yeah, like
Dishes and
my
laundry.
mom said that what they do when they were young, my grandparents taught them, like they're in charge of cleaning, they're in charge of cooking, they're in charge of certain tasks, which is amazing. And I asked her, how come we didn't do that? So growing up, my sisters and my brother and I, like my siblings, we didn't do that, right? And she said, oh, because we have maid, right? We have
In the
in the
Philippines, you're able
Philippines, we
to
have
do it.
nanny, we have help, right? So in a way, we weren't not,
The
we were,
healthy struggle was
the
removed.
healthy struggles was removed. It was good intention for us that we didn't struggle much physically, and also, like in that way, right? But what I mean, like I don't know how to cook. Now I know how to cook using YouTube, but because it was removed from us, it's not like we're not taught how to cook, we're not taught, to do hard things, right?
Like it's yeah. So that's the second shortcut. So the third one is comfort can be a trap. This is
Mhm.
basically what we were kind of alluding already. So if we only chase comfort, we get stuck, right? So again, as I said earlier, what I know is with successful people, they have a different relationship to healthy struggle or pain, and they almost seek for it, right? So I want you to think about what we're talking about right now. What is in the area in your life that you want to improve or you want to grow,
Mhm.
right? And maybe the reason why you're stuck is because you're afraid to um, lean into the pain. and do the work that's necessary,
Mm-hmm.
the hard work that's necessary. And you don't have to, and Jim Rohn says, you don't have to necessarily, like work, like if you want to, for example, if you want to lose weight, you don't have to necessarily work hard for 2 hours. You just have to be consistent in
Mm-hmm.
doing something
Yeah.
that's outside of your comfort zone, that's so simple for the next 30 days, and you just basically elevate it. So this, we just brought this topic up because this is our day topic, but it's really relevant to
Mm-hmm.
all areas of your life, right? So work hard now so it will be easy later. And I always tell online business owners, right? If you're consistently, going all in, focused intensity, focused hard work for the next, 6, 12, 18, 24 months of your life, you don't, the result, you'll be blown away. Consistent effort, right? For us, all the results we have now is because most of the work that we put in the first, 12, 24 months of our business, and all the results we're reaping is because of the hard work we did last time. And now it's
Mm-hmm.
way easier for us compared to people that, I'll do a little bit of work here, maybe stop for a couple of months, go back again in business, and then you see that them 3 years later, now they're, don't have the results, like a lot of people do, is because they're not consistent, right?
Yeah. I love what Jim Rohn says. If you do what's hard now, life becomes easier later. But if you always do what's easy now, life gets harder later.
And this is for all areas. And if you're in the online business, same thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Like for me, like prior to the online business, we amassed, 86,000 of consumer debts. We didn't own it. We can't even buy a home, right? So we were in a bad, in a not so good financial situation, right? Even though our other areas in our life is good, but in financially, because we were not taught, and also we were doing the easy way instead of doing the hard things. Really, the hard things is simple, but it's not easy. Spend uh below your means, right? Do the hard things, which is, like for us, build a business that income producing activities. Save now, right? Rather than spend more, travel here and there, right? So that was, in the beginning of our marriage life, we did the easy way, right? That's why we're sharing this to you, because we did, like, we have this result now because of the hard things that we've done for the
And
past
yeah.
couple of years,
And
right?
and the crazy thing about that is, like, you can change now.
Yeah.
I love I love what Jim Rohn also says. You're not a tree. You can move, right? You can change, right? A tree is stuck. It
Yeah.
can't change. You can change now,
Yeah.
right? You can
It's
actually.
never too late. Like sometimes the enemy will tell you, "Oh, you've wasted this years. You've made so many mistakes. It's hopeless. It's helpless, right?" But really, it's never too late. It's always a good. It's always a good day to start now.
All right. So our goal is to get it within 10 minutes, but there's a lot. We just have a lot to say all the time.
Okay, we'll finish
I
it.
hope you're getting value.
Yeah, we'll finish it. We always finish the New Day, New You series with the scriptures. This is from Hebrews 12, verse 11. It says, "No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful later on. However, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by
This
it."
is a beautiful summary of this topic right now, right? So
Mhm.
it doesn't seem pleasant when you do the hard work. It might be painful. Discipline is hard work, right?
Mhm.
But you will harvest righteousness and peace, which means it's going to be easy later,
Mhm.
right? So again, do the hard now, and your life will be easy later. So I hope we gave you value. Thanks for tuning in. That is another episode of It's a
It's a
New
new
Day.
day. It's a new year.
God
Thanks,
bless everybody.
everyone. God bless you. Bye.